All right. Hello, world from everywhere, from America, South America, North America, Europe, and from all over, from the Milky Way galaxy and all other galaxies. You are with UFO Disclosure Bulgaria, and today we have very special guests. Two beautiful ladies, one from Canada, this is Wendy, and Michaela, she's from Argentina, but she lives in Bulgaria right now. We're going to talk for very interesting topics: Bigfoot, consciousness, telepathy, and all these interesting topics. So I say hello and good morning and good afternoon, dear beautiful ladies.
Good morning, good afternoon, everybody.
All right. So, Mikhail, can you share with us a little bit about you and how this interest with the contacts and all other abilities you have happening?
Yes, well, I'm Michaela. I am 29 years old, and since I was 21, I started to. I had a spiritual awakening due to some episodes in my life, and yeah, through the years, I have been developing some kind of. I will not call them gifts, but some kind of extra sense from the body. And nowadays I am having some contact with some beings from another constellations in the sky that they are coming from Orion specifically. And yes, I'm just canalizing messages every day and yes, making stronger my connection to them. At the beginning, I was a bit discouraged, a bit in doubt if I was getting crazy, if I was just creating all of this in my mind. But with the time, it became stronger. And due to some proofs I had, I must say that today I'm convinced. And yes, I am just following my intuition 100%.
How you feel with all this, not gifts but sensations?
Well, at the beginning it was hard because I think I am not sure what's the name of one of them, but it's called, it's not clairvoyance, but it's when you feel, when sense. You don't see things, but you sense, and you tend to see the hidden thing in the reality. Let's say you can see when a person is lying, you can see what that person is thinking sometimes. And it was a bit, at the beginning it was hard because I couldn't control this, and sometimes I was going to meetings or to places with people and I could even hear their thoughts in their heads, and it was not that pleasant. Sometimes there was no pleasant thoughts or good thoughts, and it was hard to deal with it. So yeah, with the time I learned how to regulate this, how to balance, and how to disconnect in the moment that I have to. Otherwise, I will be hearing all the times, thoughts of people. So today I'm managing better. I am like, I have a special moment in the day where I sit down and I connect, and I just use it for that. And yeah.
Okay.
Much.
Wendy, we know with Wendy maybe for 2-3 years, something, maybe more. and lately I had a pleasure to go to Canada and see her in life. She's a very sweet lady, and she has very interesting, incredible experience with interdimensional being and actually Bigfoot. Wendy, I mean, did you have lately something encounters with that creature?
I haven't lately. No, it's I've actually been talking to Sebastian lately, and for some reason I'm connecting to his star family.
Uh-huh.
And he said he hasn't had any connection with them for quite a few years, but for some reason they're connecting to me, and I'm seeing them. His star brother is getting messages from his star mother, and it's unbelievable for me. Like, why are they coming to me? But I haven't had any. I haven't been back out to that forest that I took you that day.
Yeah, yeah.
because I think we discussed that I actually think I was the first person maybe that walked in there that could actually see them.
Mhm.
And the first time I went in, I told you I was meditating and I heard them. And I actually think it's their territory. And I think I was the first person that they were able to tell that that was their territory, and they didn't like people coming through.
Mm.
And they told me in uncertain terms. And so I'm respecting that. I haven't gone
Yeah,
back.
yeah. Actually, Michaela just mentioned something like this, that the place you live with the hills, with the woods, forests, mountain, usually they habitat these areas.
Yes, 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 yeah. The very first experience I had with them was magical. It was absolutely beautiful. But it's really interesting to know, to see the differences. I think I described the first experience was a being that was just, you could feel the love and you could feel the happiness coming out of him. And so the whole night that we were there, we experienced beautiful things with him. And the second experience, they were looked totally different, and totally different energy coming from the two of them. So, and I've heard that. Since this is my first experience, I didn't really understand that at the time, because my first experience was beautiful, just
Mhm.
absolutely beautiful. So,
Michaela, if you want, you can ask something or just have.
No, I am thinking that it's crazy how in the stories, when in many stories about Bigfoot, they tend tend to talk about him like this being like a very grumpy and very angry person. And maybe I'm thinking it's for in order for people not to explore that or not to connect with him, because when he's describing like a not totally different thing, and I'm just like, okay, interesting.
well, the first experience for me, it was after a traumatic event, and I was going out sky watching with a friend, and it was two friends actually, and we were just hiking through the bush before it got dark, and as it got dark, we were walking through this field, and my friend is very psychic also, and we both got the message, please leave this area, there's young here, and they didn't want the young to interact with humans right away. So we respected that, and we got out of that field and we walked into another area. It was very, very low, and we were having fun. Like, we were, with the three of us, were just having a lot of fun. And we were hearing branches crack, and we were hearing all this. And then this, all of a sudden, this huge rock goes poof on the ground right beside my car. And instead of being really, like, we all just started laughing for some reason. We just all started laughing because it came right down beside my car. You'd think that I'd be like, oh my gosh, but no, we all started laughing. And the two of us, me and my friend, saw a Sasquatch face with the biggest grin, like just the biggest grin. And so I walked over to my friend, and he says, and I went, oh my gosh, I said, all I feel is humor coming from this being, humor and love coming from this being. And my friend says to me, he says, he likes you. And I'm, oh, well, that's kind of cool. So then I walked back to my car, and I'm standing there, and we were still laughing and carrying on. And I look down, and I see two hairy arms coming down, like obviously very tall, coming down and wrapped around me. And I'm looking down, seeing these two arms. And I said to my friend, I have hairy arms wrapped around me here. And my friend looked over at me and he goes, oh yeah, he's about 8 feet tall with a pot belly. He really likes you. And that and seriously, I had these arms wrapped around me. And it was just the most, that was my first experience. So my second experience, I was surprised because he was grumpy. He didn't like me being in that area. So,
Oh, maybe but it was another Bigfoot.
Wow.
well, it was a different one for sure. It was a different one. The first one was, you could feel the humor coming off of him. Like he was having fun with us, and he was light brown. He was tall, but his fur was like a light orangey brown. The next one, he was big, but his fur, can't you say, they don't like fur. Their hair was dark brown, almost black. So that was the difference. And when I saw him coming, he was like coming in full force towards me. It was like, I could see him coming, and it's like there was no escaping it. So
But also you were so ready for that, because if I were in your place, I would be so scared and running, and you were so relaxed about that.
Well, the second time, not so much, but there wasn't much I could do because he was coming in really. I actually told Sebastian this. I had other things on my mind at the time, like apartment, like where am I going to move, and I'm walking through, and that's why I was in the bush to back to nature to try to sort all this stuff out. So I'm walking, and in my mind, I could see him coming. He didn't warn me this time. The first time he warned me. This time, I just started to see him coming. So then it was like, he's coming. Oh, what am I going to do with my apartment? He's coming, like he was kind of in the back of my mind. Yeah. And then I went and I showed Ivan, I sat on this bench to look over this little valley to try to figure things out. And I saw him coming, and he was like right there beside me, and actually reached out and touched me. And that was the time I thought, okay, he doesn't want me here. So I just got up and I left. I respected him. So
you said it just walking like this. You mean like a human walking, or?
Yeah. But he was like kind of like this. Like he was big. He was big, and
because it's heavy.
Yeah, but I could see his arms kind of swinging, but he was walking like this. He was big when he came. Yeah. So,
Michaela?
Yes, I'm just
How
amazed
you feel
by the
about
story.
that?
Well, I would love to see them actually, and to experience all of that. But and I am also happy that Wendy is respecting the space, and because I think not many people will understand that, and that's very, very good of you. Yeah.
I actually had a discussion with a fellow just recently who is obviously sees them also. And he was on my channel, he was showing pictures that he was taking, and he was telling me how they were stamping their feet and they were growling and everything. And I said to him, they're obviously asking you to back off. They're obviously asking you to go away. And he didn't even, but he mustn't have felt them, or mustn't have heard them, because we got messages the first time we got messages to leave, and maybe that's why they came and saw us later, because we respected that and did leave them, because they said they had
Exactly.
And the second time I did leave when he asked, but then I never thought about it again, because it's very close to my village, isn't it, Ivan? And very, very close, so I love to go out there. And no, he didn't. He didn't. Like I said, I think I was the first person that actually saw him there, and he understood that. So he came to tell me that.
You mentioned that probably Bigfoot is a multi-dimensional creature or being.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
I mean, first time when I heard about Bigfoot, probably was 30 years ago, and they call that thing ET, or something like this. This ETIS or Bigfoot Day was observed in Siberia, also New Mexico, the state New Mexico, nearby Farmington. And I had conversation with Native Americans who live in Farmington, and I said, "Okay, what kind creature is that?" And they said that lady, she was a very old lady, and she don't want to talk too much about all this stuff because they have some kind of they believe that this is something secret and they're not supposed to share with other people. But she said, um, she said something like that. People talk about this Bigfoot is going and meeting with medicine men in the city. And they have some kind of healing powers. They fixing something if it's wrong in this situation in this area, like for example Farmington in New Mexico. Well, we still don't know too much about all these phenomena, these visitors. Clifford Stone, one of my best friends, he called them visitors because they're coming from everywhere. um, let's talk a little bit about these connections Mikhail has with another systems, space, whatever.
Yeah.
What kind of messages they giving to you? Do you understand all these messages or?
Yes, actually, when I'm writing and I'm canalizing, messages are in my language, and in my mother language, in Spanish. But I am making questions and they are replying. It's like I write the question and I receive the answer to that. And sometimes I am receiving messages in a different, I will call it language. And yes, I have a friend actually that she's I don't know, do you know about the Akashic records?
Yeah.
Yes, okay, she's the reader of Akashic records, and she is helping me sometimes to decode these these small languages and messages I'm receiving. And yeah, they are quite interesting. For example, what I know so far is that I have I am in company of two beings that they are coming from one of the stars of the constellation of Orion that is called Alnitak. When I was writing about this, I didn't even know there was a star called like this, name with that name. I didn't know many stuff, and I just started writing from nowhere. And I started to ask about this. Why you're here, what is our connection, why you're contacting me. And yeah, they explained me a little bit the story so far, that there was they were part of like a race in Alnitak that suffered, and the planet suffered an invasion long time ago. And after that, I found out there is something called the Wars of Orion that I didn't even know about that, but apparently it happened long time ago. And yeah, they suffer an invasion. I asked who invaded the planet, and they told me a race called Alpha Centaurus. I don't know if there's a race or not, but they explained me also that this race had technology and weapons. And in the let's say in Alnitak, the beings there, they didn't have technology or weapons. They were just using their energy to defend themselves. Like they had another kind of subtle powers like telekinesis, telepathy. They could move, create spheres of energy. And they told me at some moment they couldn't defend anymore the planet, so they have to run away. And the escape plan was to come to Earth and in a mothership and stay next to the Nilo, the river, in Egypt. And from that mothership, they started to mix with the Egyptians, and they in exchange of, I don't know, some help, they teach them about astrology and medicine. And the Egyptians consider these beings coming from Al-Nitak as their gods. That's the story I have so far. And it's really how to call it, overwhelming sometimes, because sometimes I'm even asking, like, how was the life when you were mixing with Egyptians and so on, and they are explaining me so detailed everything that it's a bit intense for me. But yeah,
It's very interesting. Did they give you some messages about our planet, like something, because about all this global warming, we see that planet is changed, the climate. Is that going to destroy the planet, or I mean, we're going to destroy the planet with our actions, or you don't have message like this?
I haven't asked about that actually, but what they told me, thinking about like a general question, answer I received is that people nowadays have a how to call it, and it's intoxicated by so much information. How to say it? I don't know how to say
Yeah, I
it.
understand.
Like, it has so much information, and the mind is working so much that it's time for people on Earth to connect with their heart, not with their mind anymore. And they are preparing humanity, because we're ascending to a new era. We are already in a new era, in energetically talking, right? For the humanity. So we need to stop using so much the mind and start connecting with this, with the heart, with intuition and everything, because now we will have to use both and we need to balance.
Yeah.
But that's all what I have so far, but it's quite connected actually.
That is good that we have humans. Some of the humans, they have these contacts. Another humans, they meeting with interdimensional creatures. I mean, that is so cool. Also, after all of this, different kind of phenomena, we call phenomena because we don't have explanation how they acting, for what reason they show up to us in this time. But there's a much more another phenomena. We just heard about this, but we still don't have explanation. For example, healing. Kat from California, a very good friend of me. Unfortunately, I wake up her this morning, 5 o'clock. She not was very happy for this, but she has this healing ability. Once I was in Utah, sitting in my chair in front of my desk, and I had headache at that time, and I don't know why I have this. And I talked with Kat at the same time. And I said, "Oh, Kat, I have horrible day. I have a headache." And she said, "All right." And really, probably not more of 5 minutes later, my headache just gone. So this is fact. And Wendy, she has tons of experience with this. I don't know if you actually, I don't know. Do you have any ideas or answers how that happening actually?
Kat did the same thing for me one day. We were chatting, and I told her I had this severe headache, really bad. I said I can't even talk. I can't even concentrate. And so she said, okay. She said, I'll let you go. She said, but I'm going to work on you, is what she said as I laughed. And I'm sitting there, and like I texted back, and it was like you said, 5 minutes later, it was like, it's like a vice was taken off my head, and that's how bad it was. And I just went, oh, thank you, Kat. She is amazing. She does have a healing group that is absolutely amazing.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've had a couple of experiences doing that myself, but I think I explained to you myself. When I try to do it on my own, it doesn't seem to work. Actually, when I was with her group, it did. The energy with her group was amazing. When I specifically, when I sit down and meditate, I'm actually told when to help someone, and someone comes in, and I have no idea who. Someone comes in and helps me, and basically takes over myself, and shows me what to do.
Mhm.
And there's 2 times specifically, and I can't prove it, whatever, but 2 times specifically, after that happened, both people had a complete healing, both times. But if I sit on my own and try to do it, it just doesn't work. It's almost like someone comes in, gives me permission, and helps me. It's pretty incredible and I know when it's happening. I know when it's something serious enough that, and I wish I could explain who or why or how it happens, but it's like someone just comes in and says, okay, you need to help this person, and I just go into a deep trance, I guess you could almost say, and they direct me in what to do.
Mhm. Something maybe like a power of the mind, of the thoughts, when you're thinking for someone and you really want to help, sending love like thoughts, like
Yeah,
maybe.
yeah. It's really a hard one to explain. Actually, one time when I sat down, I was told to go through my own body, and whoever was guiding me took me through every part of my body, like cleaned out every part of my body, and then and then sent me to my friends, and then I went and worked on her lungs and that. But I just really don't know who's doing it, and I don't know why or how. It just comes in specific cases. And the first one was incredible. I've always been told I'm a healer, and they said you're not using it enough. One girlfriend asked me, she found something, and she said, as I'm leaving, I said, I'm going out to meditate on the beach. And she said to me, can you put a good word in for me? And I laughed, and I went, I said, I don't know how to heal. So I leave, It's the last thing I said to her. I walk out, and I'm walking up the road, and I was heading to the beach. I never made it. Something just took me and told me, sit here, and sat me down on this bench. And I was right beside me was the busiest road in Vancouver. And the other side of me was the beach with all these people. And I'm sitting on this bench. And this person, whatever happened, directed me in how to heal. I saw her guides around her, and they directed me in how to heal, showed me how I should heal. And after I came out of that, I didn't even know where I was. I was totally out of it. I didn't even know where I was. And I'm texting my girlfriend going, you won't believe what just happened to me. And I said, are you okay? And she said, yeah, I feel fine. And she went in and got checked, and it's gone. So I wish I did know who was doing that. Our guides, obviously, very powerful, because I've had them do that more than once with me. Just take me over and then show me what to do. So
Probably you've been in the high another level of consciousness and meeting with some kind of healers beings, and they just teach you what to do, or
Yeah.
like, actually, when we're dreaming, when we go to bed to sleep, we don't know what's going on with our spiritual body. Maybe in this time we're being connected with another worlds, with another high level dimensions, beings, anything, and we've been teach for different stuff. And one day, that file is opening and we'll just know something, but we don't know how we know that. And that happened with me sometimes. um, Michaela,
Totally.
what do you think about this disclosure? Do you think that, like with UFO, with the visitors, do you think that will be something global, or that already happening? Happening individually with individuals?
I have the feeling that, for me, I, I think actually that this has been going on since thousands of years. It's something normal. But I have the feeling also that, I don't know, there's some kind of agenda. That's why they are pushing this right now. It's kind of, for me, I'm a bit skeptical about how they are showing the whole thing. Why now? Why like this? Why they are pushing? Actually, the NASA director came to my country to make the announcement. I don't know if you knew. He came to Argentina to make the announcement, and it was quite weird. Why you will choose my country to go and make that announcement that maybe there's some kind of life, but somewhere. But I don't know. I come from a region where it's a bit normal to talk about these things, because I live close to an area that is called Uritorco. It's a big hill, I would say, where it is well known. There's a lot of entities going inside the earth and taking off in the sky in like spaceships. I even have seen the spaceships as lights, and I experienced a lot of stuff there. It's weird. It's hard to explain it, but I have the feeling many people knows about these things. For example, like me, you, Wendy, and everybody has a different experience, even being abducted and everything. But I don't know. I have the feeling that there's a reason behind it. That's why they are pushing this right now. I don't know, but I think if we want, we can contact them anytime. I don't know. That's my opinion.
Mhm. What we can say, like a conclusion of all these topics we talked today?
Conclusion.
What can be your message to people who watching this in that time?
My conclusion is that if you are open to look for knowledge, and if you are open to experience new ways of seeing life, you can totally like connect with this stuff. If you are close, you will not. So look for knowledge, look for different stuff, hear different opinions, listen different opinions, and just try to connect, because it's already here.
Wendy?
On my side, I think people need to learn about consciousness, opening up the right side of their brain, and to let all the busyness go and open up the right, and you can talk to anyone, you can experience anything once you do that, and that's what my goal is. That's what I do, is when I teach seeing blindfold, it's actually activating the pineal gland, activating the right brain to actually start receiving. And that's the messages I've got, is that's why I'm doing it, is to open people's eyes to the experience. So
Well, thank you very much for your participation. I'm sorry if so somebody is very early morning. World. So we're not just this physical body, and we're spiritual beings. And if we looking who exactly we are and why we are in this planet in this time with this body, that is very good idea, because we can discover many enigmas in this world, and really there are a lot. But open your eyes, open your heart, open your consciousness, and look up, and you'll find yourself, and you'll find this beautiful relations with all these beings who is coming to our planet to make a peaceful connection. And yes, I wish you have a very nice, beautiful day, or good night, good morning. I love you, and see you again. Bye-bye.